Now, if you thought that allergy season was over, think again. And that's while the springtime is usually traditionally the season associated with the most allergies, the cool autumn weather does not mean a break in that sneezing, Hannah.
That is right. Unfortunately, I hate to say it's right, but it's right. And our Lexi Horvath spoke with the Chattanooga Allergy Clinic about fall allergy symptoms, causes, and what you should know this season.
We're officially in cold and flu seasons.
While the fall season brings vibrant foliage, pumpkin spice treats, and football fun,
Fall is notoriously tricky for people with asthma.
it also brings pollen.
Both ragweed pollen and mold spores are high in our area now.
Allergist Jessica Van Mason from the Chattanooga Allergy Clinic has already seen an uptick in patients this fall season.
A lot of people are coming in here triggered with acute sinus and nasal symptoms.
But why?
When we're pollen allergic, in the spring, it's usually from tree pollen. But in the fall, it's usually from weed pollens or mold spores.
As leaves collect on the ground and rain falls, that makes the perfect conditions for the allergen mold.
People with allergies or allergic asthma can definitely be triggered by ragweed. That's the big pollen that's prevalent in our area this time of year.
According to the CDC, ragweed produces 1 billion grains per season. Adding that pollen from flowering plants, trees, and grasses are the primary causes of fall allergies. Back in 2021, about 26% of adults and 19% of children were diagnosed with seasonal allergic rhinitis, often called hay fever, according to the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America. And here in Chattanooga,
We see young children that are affected by their allergies all the way up to older individuals that are affected.
reminding residents if you've been sneezing, have itchy eyes, stuffy or runny nose, sore throat, cough, or congestion,
We can do breathing tests to check to see if it looks like you might have asthma. We can also do allergy tests to see if there's something in the environment, whether that's an indoor allergen or an outdoor allergen, that's triggering your respiratory symptoms.
Now add all of that to the list of gardening and raking leaves, two common fall activities that increase exposure and aggravate symptoms. And something I also wanted to touch on is during the cooler months, people are likely to be spending a lot more time inside, but they will still be around indoor allergens. That will include dust mites, indoor mold, and some pet dander as well.
Well, that's great to know. Now, Lexi, I do know that I'm not an expert, I'm not as far as medically goes, but I do have asthma. This can save your life. It is albuterol sulfate. If you do have asthma, this is something you need to talk to your doctor about.
Absolutely. No, Maggie, talk to me about what it feels like. I don't have asthma,
Yeah.
but for those who do have it, talk to me about what is the use for it and kind of the season behind it. Do you feel with the fall weather that you're needing it more?
I actually, whenever I was diagnosed with asthma, it was in the fall, believe it or not. So out running around during the hay bales and those kinds of things. Basically, asthma just feels almost like your lungs get really, really tight. It feels like maybe your throat's closing up. It might be itchy, and it's really, really hard to breathe. You struggle to take a deep breath, and you could even go into an asthma attack. But we'll talk about that later. Again, we do just want to remind people to be safe.
Maggie, that is great to know, especially being in tune with your body, making sure everything feels all right, and if it doesn't, to check in with others around you or your medical professional.